All right, Shalom. We'll hop straight into it. Hey, Shalom out. Yahweh Shemel Shai Barakatah. Yeah, we'll hop straight into it. As y'all see from the title, which it goes, I got it from this article, as y'all see on the screen as well. And we'll get into it here in a few. But before all that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to all you Wakim out there who pushing this word with truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believing on the gospel. And it's the brother Kwara Abad from the GMS Houston camp. And again, from the title, as you see, it says Trans Day of Vengeance, question mark, right? A brief history of the last rainbow people who tried this, like on Friday after next, they say, hey, you remember what happened to the last security guards, right? We remember what happened to these last rainbow flag people, man. And we get that story from Genesis, the 19th chapter, dealing with Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Now I'm gonna read into this article a little bit, because what it's going into is that these, and for the sake of YouTube's algorithms and guidelines, I'm gonna try to stay away from the trans word, just in case, so they don't give I don't give them no reason to try to strike the video. You see, so in this lesson we go call them transformers, right? Transformers, or like Elder Yashawama say, trans gentlemen, right? But nevertheless, when we go into this article, you go see that these transformer people, they feel like they are heavily oppressed. They feel like the target is on their back, right? They feel like large numbers of them are dying, right? Being put to death. So now the solution for these people is that, well, we need to get vengeance back, right? We need to act on these things. We can't continue to be oppressed and just let it happen, right? We can't just continue to let our members be put to death and not do nothing about it. So now these transformers, or like I like to say, these rainbow flag supporters, right? Now, in other words, they had enough. So what, they ain't taking shit from nobody, right? Like you seen that example with that school shooting, right? That was one example of it. But again, I want to use this article to tie it to how this happened in the ancient world, man, with Sodom and Gomorrah. And we're gonna see the results of a rainbow flag supporter or a transformer trying to take vengeance on people, man. Right? Like they in the right. Like they got, well, in this world they got laws and say-sos, but in the Most High, you ain't got no say-so. We will read that story about Lot. Lot tried to correct them, right? Lot tried to correct them and try to get them not to go off and try to rape the angels. But what they did after after Lot tried to correct them, they wanted to do worse to Lot than what they was going to do to the angels. In other words, those rainbow flag supporters in ancient Sodom and Gomorrah, they wanted to take vengeance on Lot. And once that happened, though, that's when the Lord was going to send that fire. You see? It's a lot. I hope I don't be coughing, throughout the lesson, trying to get rid of that cough. But again, so the same thing in these times. You see these rainbow flag supporters trying to take vengeance. Well, we're going to go back into the history, LGBT history in Genesis 19. And we're going to read what happens when people of this nature try to take vengeance or come after others who correcting them, right? Or if they're offended by it. Well, we're going to see. And eventually, hey, we know fire will come to this place too. But let's hop into this article. I don't want the lesson to be too long. Well, I don't want it to be long at all. But the date is from March 31st, 2023. It says Nashville Transformer Christian school shooting occurred just days after the Trans Day of Vengeance protest. You see? So it says just days before the Transformer, Audrey Hale, 28 years old, shot up a Christian day school in Nashville. a transsexual extremist movement announced plans for a day of vengeance. You see it? A day of vengeance to stop trans genocide, specifically by raising money for firearms. So they tired of people talking about them. They tired of feeling like an outcast in a society. So now they speaking up. Now they go take arms. Hey, Shalom, brother Zanal, all y'all I came on the comment board. Y'all about Shema Shabakatam. Hey, Zanal, if you want to hop in. I know this topic be having your spirit burning, knock. So yeah, I'll shoot you that link, bro. But right. So you see now these transformer people says a day of vengeance to what? To stop the transformer genocide, specifically by raising firearms. And it goes on to say, left-wing radicals tweeted, then deleted, following the shooting, a message about Transformer Day of Vengeance, which is actually a 3-day event planned for March 31st through April 2nd in Washington, D.C. It says, here is what the now deleted tweet said. It says, we hope to see you in D.C. or online. The time is now. Enough is enough. And again, we're going to get this story about Lot. That's like the same thing they said. Who is this man that he telling us something? Enough is enough. Right? It says this country is full of hate, and hate is not welcome in this country. We are human beings, and we will always exist. You are all worth it. Let's unite. Transformer Day of Vengeance. Right? It goes into the cost to get in. They're going to teach, the benefits of firearms, self-defense training, right? Dance classes, But let's jump down a little bit more, and I'll hop into that Genesis 19. So it says, vengeance means to inflict injury, harm, or mutilation, or the like, which is exactly what Audrey Hale did to teachers and students at the Covenant Hall School. I got that definition of vengeance right here, just a quick Merriam-Webster. And it says what? Vengeance, punishment given in return for an injury or offense. So just because these people offended, now they want to react towards it, man. And ain't no telling what Esau gonna have in these upcoming days and weeks with these transformer people. It could be false flag, and all of a sudden they shooting up stuff. Right? And they becoming more bold, So it says the transformer cult casually used one of the term. So like it casually used the term vengeance is concerning in this text, seeing how the dictionary definition of the word reads as follows. It says injury, harm, or infliction or humiliation or the like on a person by another who has been harmed by that person. A violent revenge. It says, for all intents and purposes, shooting up staff and students at a school. I'll jump down. I don't want to get into that. I'll read this and we can move on because we get the point of the article. So it says the notion is that transformer extremists must get violent against the rest of society. You see? The notion that transformer extremists must get violent against the rest of society in retaliation for their delusions. And again, man, this Genesis 19 on up, we gonna see the ancient rainbow flag supporters want to take vengeance on Lot, and we just using this as an example. And we gonna see once a transformer try to take vengeance of their wrongs, what the Lord gonna do. So if we see this is happening, and we seen what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah, what can we expect in this time, man? There's already been enough laws passed for these people to help them out. How much more if they want to take action into their own hands? Now the Lord gonna have to step in, just like he did with Lot. It says the notion is that transformer extremists, right? The brother Zainallah said he definitely gonna do a response. It says the notion is that transformer extremists must get violent against the rest of society in retaliation for their delusions of being murdered by society, right? As if, they suffering so much. It says, if anything, the transformer cult receives special rights and privileges that are not afforded to the normal straight people. Right? They are being protected already. What else you want? You see? Really, the only thing you need is that fire, man. Let's try to read a little, see if we got a little more. That's pretty much it. I'll throw it in the chat so brothers go check it out. I'll read this little part right here. It says, and we'll get that Genesis 19 and move on. It says, what the transformer code means by genocide is that some states, including Tennessee, are passing laws to protect children against transformer mutilation and the groomers who are constantly pushing it on them. So that's another reason they want to revolt, because these states are trying to stop or pass laws so you can stop children from changing their sex, and they don't like that. So let's get into Genesis 19 and get a little history, man. Right? Rainbow flag history. Or like they say, LGBTQ history. Well, let's read it. And let's see what happens when these people try to take vengeance in their own hands, like they're trying to do today. So it's Genesis 19 and 1, and we're going to read the NLT version. We could try to read through it fairly quickly. Genesis 19 and 1, it says, that evening, the two angels came to the entrance of Sodom, and Lot was sitting there. And when he saw them, he stood up to meet them. And then he welcomed them and bowed his face to the ground and said, my lords, come to my house, come to my home to wash your feet and be my guests for the night. You may eat and get up early in the morning and be on your way again. Right? It says, oh no, they replied, we'll just spend the night out here in the city square. Verse 3. But Lot insisted. So at last they went home with him, and Lot prepared a feast for them, complete with fresh bread made without yeast, and they ate. Now, to give it some context, when you go to Genesis 18, right, the Lord came down with two angels, and he was talking to Abraham, and he told him, he said, look, Abraham, I'm going to let you in on my secret. Or really, he told the angels, he said, should I let Abraham in on my secret on what I'm about to do to Sodom? Yeah, just like the Lord let us in on his secret on what he about to do to America. But he told Abraham, he said, look, I'm about to go destroy Sodom. I've been hearing there's a lot of wickedness there. And he said, look, I'm going to go down now to check and see if it's going on according to what I've been hearing. And that's why the angels were sent there to check the place out. Just like we see in UFO sightings, the angels are being sent here to check this place out and to confirm and get a Lord word, although he know that what they hearing is exactly what's going on, even worse. So that's why the angels came there. And it says, verse 4, but before they retired for the night, all the men of Sodom, young and old. So you had all right, all kind of men burning in their lust, young and old. Just like today, you got young rainbow flag supporters, you got old ass rainbow flag supporters. So it says, all the men of Sodom, young and old, came from all over the city and surrounded the house. Again, come on, man. Let's read. It says, they shouted to Lot, where are the men who came to spend a night with you? Bring them out to us so we can have sex with them. And this is a rainbow flag supporter. And one, this to show you the times how it was back then. These people were bold. Like the brother Zainal always say, they were bold to just go up to a man's house, knock on the door, and tell him, bring out his guests because y'all trying to have sex with him. Come on, man. Why? Because I'm showing Sodom, you wasn't able to just talk about those people like that. Because look, soon as Lot said something, as we're going to read on, they got mad and they wanted to take vengeance. You see? I'm sure they may have some laws set in place. Who knows? But for them to be that bold, that's why you see these, LGBTQ people in these times, they are bold because they know they have rules, laws, and legislation to back them up. If you do anything to them, you can go to jail. If you say something to them, you can go to jail as for a hate crime. So again, these men came young and old, right? came to Lot door, knocked on his door, and it says they shouted, "Where are the men who came to spend a night with you? Bring them out so we can have sex with them," which is not sex, it's sodomy. And it goes on to say, so Lot stepped outside to talk to them, shutting the door behind him. And man, imagine a sea of people that was there. Probably went on for blocks, just for two men. And I'm sure the angels was handsome, you know. I'm sure they was handsome, right? So it says, so Lot stepped outside to talk to them, shutting the door behind them. And this is what he said. "Please, my brothers," he begged, "don't do such a wicked thing. Look, I have two virgin daughters. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do with them as ye wish." So he said, look, don't do this wicked shit, man. So one, he condemning them because he telling them what they trying to do is wicked, right? Which is what? That's an offense to him. That's a definition of vengeance. Punishment given in return for an injury or offense. So that's something you telling a man what he doing is wicked. That could be an offense. So Lot rebuked them. So it says, "Please, my brothers," he begged, "don't do such a wicked thing. Look, I have two virgin daughters. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do with them as you wish." So look, I got two virgin daughters. I could bring them out, and look, ain't no telling how old they was. I could bring them out, you know, y'all could have at it. Now that take a lot for a man to say, to give his daughters unto a whole city of men he don't even know. Just to tell you the type of moment this was, though. All right. But this is what they replied and said. It says, "But please leave these men alone," right? "Leave the angels alone, for they are my guests and are under my protection." "Stand back," they shouted. So they told Lot, "Man, get out the way. Get your ass out the way, Lot. Stand back, move." It says, "Stand back," they shouted. "This fellow," they talking about Lot, "this fellow came to town as an outsider, and now he's acting like our judge." Because remember, Lot, remember him and Abraham's servants, his servants and Abraham's servants got into a little scuffle, a little fuss, because they didn't have enough room for Lot resources and Abraham's resources. So they split up. And Abraham asked Lot, "Look, out of all the Lord gave me, you know what, which way you want to go?" And Lot chose to go towards Sodom. So he wasn't born in Sodom, right? He was newly moved to Sodom. So that's why they acting like this. This man just came to our town, and now he trying to act like he over us. Right? So let's read it again. "After Lot rebuked their ass, it says, 'Stand back,' they shouted. 'This fellow came to town as an outsider, and now he's acting like our judge. We'll treat you far worse than those other men.' And they lunged toward Lot to break down the door." They was trying to take vengeance. Those, and I'm sure it was, ancient ways of being transformed. Some of them probably had their piece tucked between their legs, a fake wig. Others who was out there manly as can be. This was Ham too. Ham be tall and ripped up, as manly as can be, but soft, a sissy boy, right? So after Lot rebuked them, they was like, "Man, who is you? Get out the way. You trying to act like our judge. We're gonna do to you worse than those other men we wanted." And they ran that Lot, probably grabbed them up, trying to break down the door. Again, that's an act of violence. What's the definition of vengeance? Punishment given in return, right? They don't want to do worse than Lot in return for an injury or offense. They was offended. And again, just like today, as we see from the title, going to this article that just came out a day or two yesterday, it says Nashville, right, I ain't got to read that, but it says a day of vengeance for the Transformer people right here. This is what they call it. A day of vengeance to stop Transformer genocide, man. All right, Day of Vengeance. But we read in Genesis what happens when these people try to take vengeance. Let's see what the Lord do. So let's read 9 again, and we can read on. So it says, it says, "And now he's acting like our judge. We'll treat you far worse than those other men." And they lunged toward Lot to break down the door. Lot probably falling, losing his footing in between the door. So much so, verse 10 says, but the angels reached out to pull Lot into the house and bolted the door. So they had to look, open the door, hey, and put their arm around the door and drag Lot in and lock the door. And look, I'm sure the locks Lot had on his door wasn't ready for this resistance of all these people. So the angels, it ain't in the scriptures, but extrapolating, the angels probably spiritually put a big ass padlock on that door, man, to keep that thing shut. Remember, it said the whole city was out there. And it says, verse 11, and then they blinded all the men, young and old, who were at the door of the house. So they gave up trying to get inside. So look, the angels still had to blind them because they were still trying to get in. Even though the door was locked, it wasn't enough. So the angels had to blind their ass. Right? And let's see what happened after this. This what made the angels say, okay, this is enough. This will confirm that it was enough, that they was trying to take vengeance. So what we seeing today, this confirms that this shit is enough. That now these people trying to take vengeance? Come on, man. Come on. So because they try to take vengeance, it says, meanwhile, verse 12, meanwhile, the angels question Lot, do you have any other relatives here in this city? They ask, get them out of this place, your sons-in-laws, your sons, your daughters, or anyone else, for we are about to destroy this city completely. The outcry against this place is so great, it has reached Yahweh, and he have sent us to destroy it. Man, it's not the same thing said about today. It's not the same thing said about today in America. Look, the outcry was great before Transformer Day of Vengeance. How much more when these people try to take matters into their own hands and fight even more for their so-called rights? Let's read it. This talking about Babylon, the Great America. Same thing I just said about Sodom and Gomorrah. It says, Revelation 18 and 5. I'll just get straight to the point. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. So now it's time to destroy it. And look, it's been time even before this Transformer Day of Vengeance. I'm interested to see, what the Lord gonna do hereafter. Just like I said in 2nd Ezra 15. Let me get that real quick. How the Lord had enough, man. Real quick, and we gonna go back to that and finish that out, because we still need to read the results of Transformers or rainbow flag supporters taking vengeance. Real quick, this is 2nd Ezra 15 and 5. It says, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, the famine, death, and destruction. Why? It says, verse 6, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. It's enough. Enough is enough. Now we're about to see the Lord act. That's why I say right here, therefore, thus saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. Now it's time for the Lord to work, man. They want to make it physical, so the Lord about to bring judgments and make it physical. So again, back in this, let's finish it out just to see the results of these people taking vengeance. And we know that's the end results of this place too. So back in Genesis 19 and 14, it says, so Lot rushed out to tell his daughters' fiancés, his sons-in-laws. And he said, quick, get out of the city. Yahweh is about to destroy it. But the young men thought he was only joking. They took him as a joke. They thought he was playing. Right? Just like Smokey. He thought Big Worm was playing. Big Worm wasn't playing. Right? You say, hey, like Craig told him, you say he had a gun when you seen him, right? So the Lord ain't playing. We telling you he got judgments when you see him. He ain't playing. But these people, even our people today, we telling them fire gonna come, but they take us as we plan. So it says, verse 15, at dawn, the next morning, the angel became insistent. Hurry, they said to Lot, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here and get out right now, or you will be swept away in the destruction of the city. And when Lot still hesitated, you gotta, extrapolate. Lot was probably trying to grab, a little bit of gold he had over here, and probably a couple of resources. Who knows? Remember, he had a lot. He had a lot, right? Lot had a lot. Now I don't say that, but he was, hesitating for some reason. Probably trying to get his wife. She grabbing everything, and he probably trying to tell her to come on. So it says, when Lot still hesitated, the angel seized his hand and the hands of his wife and 2 daughters and rushed them to safety outside the city. So the angels had to bring them out. Hey, same thing will happen to us today. Before this destruction, the angels are going to have to bring us out. It says, for the Lord was merciful, and when they were safely out of the city, one of the angels ordered and said, run for your lives and don't look back or stop anywhere in the valley. Escape to the mountains or you will be swept away. Let's jump down. So it says, verse 23, this is the results of LGBT or rainbow flag supporters or transformers when they try to take vengeance on people. And again, this is history we're going into, right? But we seeing they trying to do it today again. But let's read it. Genesis 19:23. It says, and Lot reached the village just as the sun was rising over the horizon. And then Yahweh rained down fire and burning sulfur from the sky on Sodom and Gomorrah. This is the results. It says Yahweh rained down fire and burning sulfur from the sky on Sodom and Gomorrah. He utterly destroyed them along with the other cities and villages of the plain, wiping out all the people, every bit of vegetation. You see, everything he wiped out, man. All the people and every bit of vegetation. Nothing was left, right? Nothing was left. And I'm sure they had asked, right? The brother, Rock said it has to end. I get this, the brother Zanala, real quick. This is Psalms 12:8. It says, the wicked walk on every side when the vilest men are exalted. Right. Look at the world. Hey, Shalom, right. Look at the world under Esau rulership. The vilest men have been exalted, and their influence have pushed to the people of the world. Not everybody is taken away as Esau. Not everybody have become vile, man. And that's why the Lord got to take away this place. What is saying, Sirach? As is the king, so are the people. And we know Esau like little boys. We know Esau like men. What they call it, a cuck. Esau a cuck. Right? Esau take his wife and go find another man and ask the other man, you wanna sleep with my wife while I watch? Like, come on, man. With that mindset, imagine you being a ruler with that mindset. What other vile things you gonna push to the people? And that's why we see the world heading the way it's headed, man. Leading straight to fire, just like Sodom and Gomorrah. We need a redo. This world need a redo, and it's gonna come, man. You see, so again, let's read it. It says, and I move on. It says, he utterly destroyed them along with the other cities and villages of the plain, wiping out all the people, right, and every bit of vegetation. So that's what happens when rainbow flag supporters or transformers try to take vengeance. Fire, man. Fire go come. You see? Let's get this in sample. Like the brother Zainala said a while ago. Man, that brother did that lesson, how America ignored the ensample or example. Right? Peter. The Lord gave you an example this world on what not to do. He gave you the example of Sodom and Gomorrah. You see? On what happens if people act this way, and even more if they try to get physical. These men try to get physical with Lot and take vengeance. The Lord sent fire, what, a day or two after that? You feel me? Okay, come on. But again, America, you can go to Sodom and Gomorrah. You can watch the Ron Wyatt video of him discovering Sodom and Gomorrah. And you ain't see what not to do? Well, because they skipped the example the Lord gave, America have fallen have fallen into the same predicament, man, and have pushed this upon the world. Let's get this. 2 Peter 2:6. It says, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes and condemned them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that shall live ungodly. And again, the Lord made them an example on what not to do. You see, on what not to do. Read the next verse. It says, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked, for that righteous man. Man, hold on. Let me go put down this garage. Somebody started cutting grass. Bad with me, Salah. Might have a little echo too that the garage closed. But it says 2 Peter 2:8, it says, for that righteous man dwelling among them, right, having to be amongst these transformers, it says in seeing, so he had to see stuff. He probably seen men walking around with so-called wigs on, right? Men stuffing their shirts like they had breasts, right? Ancient world BBLs. He probably seen vile acts in the streets. It says, and hearing what he was hearing. He, she, I identify as she, her, right? Don't call my child at birth he, a male or female, call him a baby. That's the same thing we going through. We tired of seeing this. We tired of hearing it. And it says, Lot, he was vexed. It vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. And we experiencing that today. That's why the scriptures say this about America. And again, it's all across the world, but America is the main culprit in this, right? If Scooby-Doo came, Scooby-Doo, they'll have the villain, and then at the end, they'll pull a mask off of them, and you'll see it was one of their teachers or something. Well, you got this rainbow flag, right? The LGBTQ flag. If you pull a mask off of that, under that is going to be the American flag. You see? Under the LGBTQ flag, it's really a red, white, and blue flag with 11 stripes. Is it 11? 13 stripes for the 13 colonies, 13 stripes and 50 stars. You see, that's really who behind this in the world, man. And that's why the Lord gave America this nickname in the scriptures. Real quick, Revelation 11:8, it says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. Now, the subject matter is the great city. And what is this? That's America. The same thing they call in the scriptures, Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon, right? So on and so forth. It's the same great city. In modern terms, everybody know it as the US of A, America. But let's read one of the code names the Lord gave to America. So it says, their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. So one of America's code names or epithets is Sodom. Why? Because the same thing is going on today again. They had this protest called Transformer Day of Vengeance. And they were saying this why that so-called wannabe boy who shot up that school, right? That was her driving force, because it's time for them to take vengeance. And we got in Genesis 19, what happens when those people try to take vengeance? The Lord sent fire. So what can we expect for America? If this is spiritual Sodom, we can expect physical fire. You see, it says which spiritual is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified, right? Because it's the main place of anti-Messiah activities as well. You see, that's the spirit, BA. That's the next precept I had. Let's put it up for that brother. That's the spirit. So seeing America is spiritual Sodom, that's what the Lord got to tell him, right? This 2 Ezra 2:8, it says, woe be unto thee, Ashur, right? Now, again, America have different code names, even if it say another, or for example, if it say an ancient kingdom, don't mean it's always talking about that actual ancient kingdom. It could be spiritually applied to America as well because of the same characteristics. You see, just like America, that's like a spiritual, what that was, Nineveh. Yeah, Nineveh, I believe, so on and so forth. Many other places. So Ashur is another one. So it says, "Woe be unto thee, Ashur, thou that hidest the unrighteous in thee." Now I want to stop here. I want to stop here because I think in this article it said how they got laws for them. Let's see. Let's see. Bear with me. It's somewhere. I think I read it. It said they had laws for the school because it says, "Woe be unto thee, Ashur, thou that hide the unrighteous in thee." Now I want to get a definition of hide, right? Because one of the definitions of hide is to protect. And when you protect somebody, as far as the government goes, what you do, you make laws for them. You see? So look at this definition of hide. Merriam-Webster says hide. And what it says, to put out of sight, one, to conceal for shelter or for protection. Making laws for them. You see? So let's go back to that. I thought it said they had laws somewhere in here. Already got laws. Salaki. If it don't say, I'll move on, but I thought it did. So America doing the same thing. They are protecting or hiding the unrighteous in them. And what's the as far as the scripture that the brother got, what's the context of the unrighteous? Because there's many unrighteous deeds you can do: adultery, murder, so on and so forth. But the unrighteous deeds show that they protecting transformers is because the Lord gonna bring up Sodom and Gomorrah. So they protecting rainbow flag supporters, man. Man, I thought it said something about laws and privileges. Okay, here it is. Yep, it says the notion is that transformer extremists, this is why they are throwing their protest. It says the notion is that transformer extremists must get violent against the rest of society in retaliation for their delusions of being murdered by society. It says, if anything, the transformer cult receives, you see it, I'm gonna blow it up. It says the transformer cult receives what? If anything, the transformer cult receives special rights and privileges that are not afforded to the normal straight person. This is an example of what this brother put in his precept. Let's read it again. It says, 2nd Ezra 2:8, "Woe be unto thee, Ashur." Why is woe coming to this place? It says, because thou that hidest the unrighteous in thee. And again, one definition for hide is to protect. So what type of unrighteous people are they protecting in America? By rules and legislation. The scripture says, "O thou wicked people, remember what I did unto Sodom and Gomorrah." So they are protecting the people who doing the same acts as they did in Sodom and Gomorrah. And because of that, the Lord got to say, whose land, right? Talking about Sodom and Gomorrah, because they was trying to protect rainbow flag supporters back then, because they was offended by what Lot told them. It says, whose land lieth in clods of pitch and heaps of ashes. Even so also will I do unto them that hear me not, saith Yahweh Almighty. Even so also the Lord gonna do to those who ignored the ensample, man, of Sodom and Gomorrah. You doing the same thing, trying to protect these people, right? Giving them rights, making them more bold. And now so much so, they trying to take their own vengeance. They taking up guns. Look, it said right here. Just days after the transformer, Audrey Hale, 28 years old, shot up a Christian school in Nashville. It says a transformer extremist movement announced plans for a day of vengeance to stop transgenocide, specifically by raising money for firearms. So just like they try to rush Lot and break down his door, today they would have probably shot at Lot to get in the door. You see? Come on, man. Let's get this brother precept. Brother Zainallah, Psalms 10:5. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them, man. You know, and that's another thing. Esau, look, he ain't fearing a higher power. He feel he could do what he want to do. You know, like I said, in their mind, they don't think it's the most high at all. And that's why they do, in other words, that YOLO spirit, they could do as they want, do as they will. And this is the main thing. People really think they can call themselves a woman when you a man. A man, he thinks just because he put on a wig and put on lashes and a skirt, you a woman. You see? But again, as the brother put, the Lord gonna do the same thing to this place as he did unto Sodom and Gomorrah. Let's end it off with this. This is Isaiah 13. As again, first we got this on what they trying to do, right? Take vengeance in their own hands. We got a little bit of brief LGBTQ history in Genesis 19 on what happened when these people get bold. The Lord sent fire. Then we read the Lord gave Sodom and Gomorrah as an example on what not to do. The brother BA brought out the precept on those who still did it. The Lord said he gonna do the same thing. Now let's get with Babylon, because it got to get that same fire. It's Isaiah 13 and 19, straight to the point, and I end it. About to go on a little jog in a few. Try to get this mucus out of me, man. Sweat a little bit. But this is Isaiah 13, and let's get straight to the point. Verse 19, it says, and Babylon, and it's not talking about ancient Babylon, because once we read the judgment, this didn't happen to ancient Babylon. It wasn't burnt up. This is Babylon the Great. That's why it says, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms. You see, the last great thing as far as these heathens are concerned on earth, right? This is the kingdom that transcended, right? AI and artificial intelligence and technology, all the other places of old didn't have that. Also, America got some from each of these kingdoms of old engulfed into this society. So it's like all these kingdoms put into one. That's why it's Babylon the Great, of great confusion. So it says Babylon, which is America, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be, right? Not it might be, or it may be, because we read what the Lord said, if you do it, the same judgment will come. So now seeing Babylon have been doing the same things as Sodom and Gomorrah, now the Lord says, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees excellency shall be. So this gonna happen. Shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And instead of just fire and brimstone falling from the sky, the Lord just took those elements and put them inside of a missile. Since we're in modern times. So now missiles gonna be shot, and that same ancient, those same ancient elements that burnt Sodom and Gomorrah, they're just gonna be in a modern day missile doing the same thing they did back then, man. Burning up this new Sodom. It says, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, and it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, man. So we about to witness this in our time, the results of the effects of the pride. Hey, that's another thing, pride of the pride of these rainbow flag supporters, man. How much more when they try to get physical with people? And we read when they try to get physical with Lot a day or two after, the Lord sent that fire, man. So again, who knows what Esau about to have these people do, right? They might send out certain people, right, to try people's hands, man. Not as far as fighting, but look, they might start coming up to you and flirting with you. As soon as you say something, they go better do something. Hey, matter of fact, my woman had a dream, right? My woman had a dream, and I ended with this. This is I wouldn't say a true story because it was a dream my woman had, but she had a dream. It was during Jacob's trouble, right? And like the cities, she said the cities was wasted, everything was broken down, and she said me, her, and my son, right? She said it was me, her, and my son, And she probably watching the lesson, so she know, you know. But she said it was me, her, and my son at this abandoned amusement park. And she said we heard, like, it was like early in the morning, and we heard these crowds of people coming, so we hurried up and hopped up. And she said we were sitting down. This is a true story, not a true story, but it's a dream she told me. But again, we could see these type of things happening. But she said that we were sitting down, and this transformer came set on my lap, and I hopped up and I pushed him and said, "Man, get the fuck off me." And now again, this is just a dream. And so she said, when I said that, he pulled out a gun and said, "Oh, you homophobic too, huh?" You feel me? He said, "Oh, you homophobic too, huh?" Now, in a dream, she said that once I told the transformer that, man, that's crazy. I just thought of this because I didn't even think of this when I was planning this lesson. But she had this dream I said a couple months ago. But she said that the transformer, once I pushed him in a dream, he pulled out a gun and said, "Oh, you homophobic too, huh?" And she said that the transformer shot my son. And she said my son dropped on the ground, but he wasn't crying and there was no blood. And she said that the transformer shot her, but she didn't feel nothing or see no blood. And she said that once he put the gun to shoot me, he shot, but it was this what, how she said it? It was this like force field that blocked me. She said it was this force field that blocked me and I didn't get hit. You feel me? But you know, just throw that out. That was a dream my woman had. You know, just to go into how these people go begin to be more bold, man. Hey, as the brother said, that's do as thou will spirit, to be more bold, you know. But again, that's just a dream she had a couple months ago, man. You know, pulled out a gun, someone, "Oh, you homophobic too," you know. But also that shows the power of the Lord, because she said once she tried to shoot. First, my son ain't died because he ain't even feel it, he ain't cry. It was no blood. She said she ain't feel it. And once the dude tried to shoot me, a force field went in the front of me. You know, so that shows, look, the power of the Lord will be working for us in that day, man, Lord willing. You know, but I ended off with that brother Zainala precept. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. It's Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and 26. It says, harassment of innocent people, ingratitude, moral decay, and sexual perversions. Right? And that's the same things we see in the day. And that's why the Lord got to bring judgment, man. Sexual perversions. It says broken marriages, adultery, and immorality, man. And all this is only increasing daily, you see? And that's why we got to get out of here. But look, I'm going to end it right there, Lord willing. This lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises once again unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chakwadash, double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And peace and blessings to all you Wakim out there who pushing this word with all truth and sincerity. And as well as to all you believers out there who believe in the gospel. And the water for y'all Akim for tuning in, the water for the precepts. You know, hey, we almost out of here. Keep fighting, keep pushing. And with that, shalom.